to show you guys, let me do some lighting on this interior. I'm going to do the interior, and then I got some projector lights. This is a cheap model that you can do that I highly recommend. My girlfriend actually got these, Christina did, and they're shadow lights, 3D shadow lights. You can buy them on Amazon. They're about $15. They're projector lights, and what they do is you can buy them for any brand. I have them on Christina's car, but this one, it'll show an M light on the ground, and I'm gonna install these. These take little to no time. You can it's 15 bucks and probably takes 5 minutes to install, if that, to be honest. After that, my old 335, my first one, here's a picture of it. That vehicle had these lights. I actually bought 4 of them. I only installed the fronts. And it's like, they're supposed to be white, but they have a little purple tint to it, which I actually prefer. That's why I'm installing these again. I didn't buy new ones. These will go underneath the dash on the passenger and driver's side. I don't care them in the rear. No one ever sits in the rear. But driver and passenger side. And then I have this switch that will fit flush in the vehicle. I have a fuse, so if anything goes wrong, the fuse will explode instead of it going on boom fire. But let's go ahead and get the projector lights. All you do is open your door. Here's a projector light that replaces, and all the cars should have this. Sometimes they have like a box. But all you do is get your finger under there. You can use a screwdriver. It's probably a little bit better on your finger. And you pull it down. That's all you do. It's as simple as that. From there, go ahead and detach it. You should unplug your battery. I don't find any concern with this. Like when I do the main lighting and all the wiring, I'm going to unplug my battery. But for this one, for demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and just unplug it. Okay, so out with the old, and that's LED, which is pretty neat. This one will go in there exactly the same way, and it'll go in at this direction. Now it comes with adapters right here, so you can go ahead and plug in this adapter to these two, and then you plug this one in right here, and then you slide it up in there and you push it up. So now, I'm gonna go turn off the lights. Now you got an M logo on the ground.
Very bright.
So it's nighttime. Let's go ahead and here, I'm gonna close the door, and I bet you can't even see me. It's so dark outside. Got out of the movies. You're on a date night, and you're in your BMW or your Mini Cooper or even your Nissan. You open the door, and you're like, bow, right in your face. Man, but that is a super duper cheap. It's literally like $10, $15. Depends on what you get. Christina, my girlfriend, actually got me those ones because I bought her some BMW logos, or actually a logo. She bought me those right before I got the car as a little surprise. So that was pretty sweet of her. But now let's go ahead and get the lighting. We gotta detach the battery, and this is gonna be a little bit more hefty of a job, which I highly recommend because it's really neat to have at nighttime, especially on cruises. Okay, now we are gonna go ahead and start trying to decide how we're gonna do this and what to tackle. I have the trunk open. Do not shut the trunk even before. There's no keyhole. You're kind of screwed. You have to jump the car to be able to get to the battery. But no. So battery's unhooked. I have to wire the wire from the battery, and we have the fuse underneath here, which I'll show you here in a moment. It's gonna go all the way through under the carpets. I don't want any of it to be seen. And now it's our time to decide where we're gonna put the switch. My old E92, it had a spot, which this one does too right here, but I was showing off the switches. I had switches here, my E92, different layout. I like the look of it. This car, I kind of want to hide it, make it look factory. I want it barely to be seen. So with Christina's car, she has an F80. It's just a 4-door version. We mount it right here, and it looks good, but going back and after we did it, I don't want to do that. It's the last thing I want to do. You had to deal with the seat rails going back and forth. It was tension. It was barely touching it. Somebody actually sat on this and it actually popped off and it blew the fuse. So let's not do that again. We're gonna run it through here, run it up. And I was looking at this. Normally this is a pocket on these cars, but since this has the blind spot detection, lane departure warning, and whatever the other button is, I need to check. But this is normally a pocket, so you would think underneath here there's probably plenty of room in the back, and up here is where the switches are. So my thinking, there's already switches here, why don't we just add a switch underneath it, and there should be plenty of room of play, so I won't be having to put tension on the back half of the switch. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that off, and we'll decide if that's a good spot or not.
Just reach back in there and push it out. We got this.
We did some talking off camera. I shouldn't have. We don't want to pry it off. I don't want to break the snaps. We actually have to pull off this interior. It's lower trim. It's really hard to see any lighting, but it's a whole cover. I have to pull that off either way, get the wiring and go through for the lights to sit up on there, which is what the lights sit on. I have to pull both sides off. I'm gonna pull that off so I can get my hand up here and hopefully just push it off or feel there's bolts or anything. So I just don't want to damage it, break any snaps. I would not be very happy. I'm very OCD when it comes to things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off, and let's go ahead and get as much footage of it as I can. Put my hand up in there and push this top part off. There's snaps on top, bottom it just sits in there. So you would think it would just come right on out from here, but it's still fighting me. There we go. And then from there, go ahead and detach this whole port that holds everything on. There we go. And boom, we have that. So this is what we're gonna put our switch on. Now we just gotta go ahead and do some dissecting on it. Hopefully Cameron has his Dremel, because I may have cough left mine at Norman, 2 hours away. So let's not drive 2 hours for a Dremel or have to go buy a new Dremel. Cameron, you have a Dremel? Yeah. We'll find out. To explain what I'm exactly doing, see I have this switch. I'm gonna put it right here, light up. Because I'm planning on doing a few other lighting mods. I'm gonna get this exact same switch. I'm gonna put one there and one there, so it'll be 3. This one I'm gonna put here on the first side. And I need to get that measured out, because on the packaging it didn't tell me what size this was. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use cardboard, because I can actually mess up on cardboard. I'll make that perfect circle, and then I'll put it on here, and that's when I'll cut out or drill out the circle for it, because I do not want to mess up on this piece. So let's go ahead and do that on cardboard real quick with a little razor blade. It doesn't need to be perfect. And boom. So now let's pull that thing back out. Now we have the basic circle. So now we're gonna go ahead and place this exactly where we want. Now I'll take a marker to it. So, what a clean install is pretty flush. And it's a switch, and again, this isn't very noticeable. You will never really see it as anybody other than me driving the car, because I know where it's at. And we may have 2 more on those, one in the middle, one on the far end. So let's go ahead and, I guess the next step is the wiring. I'm gonna have Cameron hold the camera. I'm gonna show you guys how to twist your ground and positive wires the easiest way. Most people don't twist their wires and they're loose. I'm OCD and I don't want wires sitting there vibrating inside the ends here. So let's go ahead and pass this to him. Now what you need to do is go ahead and take both ends of here, grab some electrical tape. You have some wire cutters, so remember I forgot mine. Sorry about that.
Let's go over to my sack of tricks over here.
House. Okay, and what's really nice is he's got that vise. I'm gonna go ahead and vise this up.
I don't think he knows what he's doing.
So now that's vice. Go ahead and grab wire all the way across, however long you think it's gonna be. It shrinks up as you go, so really you're using more wire by doing this. Let's go ahead and see those wire cutters. Thank you, Cameron. Okay, and then I want it that long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut those.
The cutters are at the end. They're kind of, they need to be tightened.
All right, so from there, go ahead and grab your wire. We're gonna use the drill. Take the drill, twist that off, and put both the ends of your wire inside the drill. Tighten that up as if it's a drill bit, like that. Now watch what happens. See that twist already? When I sit there and twist it, the whole thing is gonna sit there. It's gonna get stuck. Now as I was saying, look how small it is. So you twist it, and now your wire is all built together, and you got your positive and your ground. You can wire that through your entire car, so now you don't have less many loose wires. That's something I never see people do. It's a little trick I learned when I was like 13 doing some wiring. So let's go ahead and unravel that. Now some of this we're actually gonna have to unwind here in the trunk. Hopefully that's long enough. I didn't even test it. So first things first, let's test this. I like to keep all my stuff tucked, so I'm going to start from the battery and go underneath here, which will actually latch to, I should pull this out first. Oh. So this is direct to the battery. I'll show you how to connect those. I guess you can do a ground up front because there's plenty of other ground wires. I just like to keep it all separate. I'm gonna do line because that means when I sell this car, I can pull everything out. I can replace a small piece of plastic. The car's back to stock. Versus if I go ahead and use a ground from up front, I have to split the OEM wiring. You're playing around with the wiring in the car. Here in 8 years, the car could have wiring issues. Anything can happen. So I could use a ground up front, but I want to make sure the ground starts to the battery because you can just unscrew it. But if you look back here, I have it linked. It goes across underneath here, which will be covered, and I'm going to tuck it up a little bit better under there, and then I'm going to have the fuse sit right here. So the fuse is completely separate also. It's going to be sitting right there in the dead center, which will be for the hot wire, the red wire. And then from there, it goes underneath the seat. I have to put the seat back in. It goes underneath the seat fabric. And then it's going to go underneath this carpet. It's going to run all the way up to the front to our switches. I want to show you guys something real quick. So I'm wiring it through the rear. You can't see it. It's all tucked away. But in here is where I'm running it. I want to show you this. I'm doing it like the OEM way. They're all touching the carpets. It's following these other wiring. As you can tell, none of that wiring is mine. And it goes up top. I just want to show you guys that you're doing no harm with your car when you're doing this. The most harm you're doing is installing that switch, and you don't even have to do the switch. You can do it however you want. But I just want to show you guys real quick. I'm going to go ahead and move on and keep tucking all the wires. Alright guys, so I'm on the point where I'm wiring, having to put adapters on these. So there's these studs. I don't know the exact term. I ain't no electrician, but I know how the basics work. There's these studs here, and I went to O'Reilly's a while back and bought these. They're like little adapters that actually slide on there. Now what's cool about these is you split your wire, and once you pull off the rubber, you just yank it off with the wiring cutters. Once you yank that off, you slide it on, and then you pinch it. And then once you get it on there, you go ahead and take a lighter, or you can buy one of the little torches, or use a torch or a heat gun, anything like that. You can melt this around, and it seals it up. Don't burn it though. It'll carry a little bit of smoke, but it seals it up, makes it tighter around the wire, kind of waterproofs it. After that, I like to be extra safe, so I go ahead and put electric tape over that and on the wire. So if there's any type of tugging ever, it helps also to prevent it from coming off, and it's extra protection. So I just want to go over that with you real quick. I'm doing the studs here, and I have to split the ground because the actual switch requires a ground. So I'll split. Let's not do that again. Well, I'm going to split the ground so it'll have one here, one there, ground. It tells you like ground, load, and hot power. So, and then we'll wire it across and do the 2 lighting. All this for some lights, but guys, this is gonna be worth it in my opinion. I want to show you something. Come here, come on. So I'm doing the connectors to the battery. It's a connector. You just throw over the wire, you pinch it, you do so. I heat it, and then I use electrical tape for a bit extra. So here's the positive one. It's already in there. I'm actually doing the ground right now. All I do is slide it in where the nut normally is that you tighten it with. And then you put the nut back on, which is probably hard to see that, but I'm basically giving this whole system some life right now. Here's another thing I want to show you. The fuse is in right there. I've it tucked behind. It's all sealed up. It goes all the way through. There's that. It goes all the way through underneath here, all the way, and now here it is. It's not on there yet, It's right here. I'm actually gonna test it right now. Okay, so that side works, and that side works. So now that that's working, I am completely done with all the wiring 100%. I just gotta put it all back together, stick those on where I want them. So we're like done. And then here's the switch. Again, really flush, a little blue light. I'm not so sure about that blue light. I might actually take that. I wish it was red or more dull. It's really bright. We'll see at nighttime though. All right, well, it works, Cameron. Woo! All right, they're pretty exciting. Lighting isn't like a mod I'd love to do. It takes longer than most mods for its size. Like, it's a minor thing, but it's something I've always had in all my cars, so I thought I might as well do it in this car. It's gonna look good. It's hard to detect. Like, I'm looking at in person, looking at here. In person, this is much brighter. I don't know why it won't focus, but it's like a purpley white. Right here it kind of looks blue. It looks really good. Here, let me turn off the light and I'll show you what it looks like. Light switch. So now that it's dark, you can see it. And let me pull this door open. So you have that, and you have that I had today. This was a quick $15 mod. It took about 5 minutes. These lights were about $15. Wiring was probably about $15. Then I had the fuse, and with the switch and fuse, that ended up being about $18. It adds up more, but it looks so good. Here, let me go right here, open the other door. The only complaint I have is the switch I chose because it has a bright blue light on it. I don't know if it's bothering me while I'm driving. I can't really see it but it may end up turning that light off, like I'm plugging it where it won't work. But it looks so good. Again, you got the M light on the driver's side. So the lighting is completely 100% done. And it looks amazing. I can't be more happy. So this was just a little tutorial. I'm stepping on things. I really just wanted to show you what it was and how you can do this yourself at home, especially since it's such a cheap mod. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. That was one of the first things I did on all my other old cars. It was always like a priority, but this one I held off for a little while, and there's a few things I wanted to do. But man, it looks really good. I'm so psyched. If you guys like this video, please like and subscribe. I do things to this car, and I'm going to keep going over and over more things to do with it. This is going to be an endless project, and if it's not this project, it's another project. It's just like how we're working in the Mini Cooper over there. So guys, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time, or I'll see you next Friday.